Well, welcome to The Local Voice. I'm Jeff Harrison, your host, and again, today we have a fabulous guest, one that maybe you may heard of. Her name is Katie Stice, and she is the CEO, brand new CEO, of La Quinta Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Katie.
Thank you for having me.
Katie, you know, I like to start out the show by asking your favorite success quote, because I feel like it kind of sets the tone. So what is your favorite success quote?
I think, well, one of my favorites is Just Do It by Nike, because I firmly believe that we all have ideas and we want to put things into place, and sometimes we get so much into planning we forget. Just keep moving forward. So I keep that in the back of my head. I love action and moving ahead. And the next one would be, the best way to predict the future is to create it, by Abraham Lincoln.
I love that.
So I keep that in my mind also.
That's great. I love that. Well, you know, a lot of times we see that those success quotes tend to have a common thread throughout the rest of the story. So we'll see how it works out.
Okay.
So, you know, let's start off, because a lot of people watching the show, Katie, are looking at this of really as a resource for seeing people like you. You're the CEO of a major city chamber of commerce. And they look at you and say, hey, you're already there, but we forget that you're not an overnight success.
True.
So I want you to do us a favor and take us back to a time where you feel like, you know, you failed. It was a tough time for you, and really what lessons you learned. And I want you to kind of take us there, right? Like we're there with you today.
Sure. So my chamber career is a long one. 9 years I've been in the chamber industry and have absolutely loved it. And we experienced some turbulence at another chamber in the area where I had to pick up and help out. We lost a couple of really important integral staff members. That was a great opportunity for me to really build and show my leadership skills in a really, such a tough situation. It really tested my character and patience. And I applied for CEO of that Chamber of Commerce and didn't make it. And that was a tough time for me, but I also felt like there's a plan in place, and just keep moving ahead, keep working with integrity, keep plowing forward. I have a great education in the chamber field for my IOM and my ACE, which are different chamber colleges and trainings. And so I didn't give up and kept my name out there in the chamber industry, in the chamber world. Saw that La Quinta Chamber was looking, applied for it, and here I am today. And so it really felt good knowing that I did everything that I could along the way to do my best work, and it is being recognized and honored, and hard work pays off.
So, you know, there's a perfect example of how you took that just do it.
Yep.
You know, you didn't, I suspect you're not the type of person who ever complains, and when that happened at the other chamber you're talking about, you know, you just said, hey, it has to get done.
Yep.
Let's get it done.
And it was tough. Our small team, minus two important people there, put on a State of the City and a golf tournament, my first golf tournament ever, a printed directory, which I'd never been in lead of before, a business expo, a golf cart parade, you name it. We managed to just do it. Yep.
And you know, we as chamber members, because we're members of that chamber she's speaking of, also La Quinta Chamber, is we never noticed on the outside where we missed a beat, where you missed a beat. That was very impressive.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah, and we knew you were shorthanded, but I tell you what, you didn't let anybody know that.
Yeah,
so.
And we had a good time. We kind of held hands and sang Kumbaya and said, we're in it together. And those types of experiences are really treasured ultimately. Yeah.
So let's take you on the other side of that, where,
Sure.
you know, you had a tough time, because I can't even imagine what that was like. You know, you worked hard and maybe felt like, hey, you should have been a natural person to be chosen, and you weren't. So take us to that point now where, hey, something very good is happening. What's going on now?
Absolutely. La Quinta Chamber of Commerce has a lot of opportunity for me to put everything that I've learned in my chamber experience and education and put it to work. We had already done really all of that before, and so now I get to start putting in pieces, start really developing this chamber on a whole nother level that they haven't seen before. So for me, that's a huge opportunity. And then the next step of that is we will be combining forces with Indio Chamber and Coachella Chambers of Commerce, creating the Greater Coachella Valley Chamber. That is a really unique and special opportunity, because folks, especially out here in the desert, have been talking about a merger of sorts for 5-7 years. I mean, it's been a really long time. And it makes sense for small businesses to not to have to feel the need to join 9 chambers across the board, which have very similar values and events, networking, some of the same people. And so I really think it's the most progressive thing that we could be doing, and I'm really honored to be a part of the process.
Yeah, when I first heard that, Katie, I was I was a little bit like, geez, I'm a member of the La Quinta Chamber, and it serves me very, very well. And we've done quite a bit of work with Indio Chamber. We've never done anything with Coachella Chamber, and those are the three chambers you're talking about,
Yes.
right? So give us an overview of what that combination, what does it mean? How does it affect somebody who's already a member of the chamber, of any of those chambers? I mean, what can we see that's a real positive spin on this?
Sure, you won't see a huge impact and change, and I guess ultimately our members won't see a lot of that. What will make easier is you won't have to join all three. You'll already be a member of all three. So it'll really just double and triple your networking, your opportunities. There's going to be strength and power in numbers there. It's really the back end, the administrative end, where we are going to see the difference. As a small business, if you know that you're joining forces with another small business with similar mission and values and work plans and strategies on the back end, maybe instead of paying for 3 different databases, Chamber Master is probably the most popular one that chambers of commerce use. We're just purchasing one. Whether it's insurance contracts or things like that, we're really combining all of our resources as far as staff goes. So now when I know we have our popular Taste of La Quinta event, I'll know that we have a photographer and a videographer that will be there from Indio Chamber of Commerce, and additional hands and help. So really administratively, operationally on the back end, we will see a much more streamlined and efficient organization being run, because we'll have just double and triple the opportunity and resources.
So really it's really lowering that overhead then, those fixed operational costs?
It truly is, and it's really bringing together and combining our member needs, which is a fantastic referral program, so that we're referring all of our local businesses to visitors and to residents. It's making sure that instead of maybe having very small networking mixers, that we're really bringing together a big portion of the community with like interests to share their businesses and to make sure that they're doubling and tripling that exposure.
Now, when is this actually officially supposed to happen? Any idea? Do we have a number or a date on that?
Well, the ideal date is July 1 of this year. What we're doing is we're doing the right thing. We're making sure that we're taking our time and we're taking all the right steps. And those steps include going to a member vote. The Chamber of Commerce is not me. It's not my board of directors. The Chamber of Commerce is the membership. And so all 3 chambers will be going to a member vote to make sure that this indeed is something that our membership as a whole buys in on, wants to be a part of, and wants to help us grow with.
Yeah, makes sense. So with this, I mean, I know you said, your background, you were with the Chamber for 9 years, but you've really been in the Valley actively in really fundraising and charity for 16 years.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that, and how that transitioned from that area into deciding to get into the Chamber of Commerce world.
Sure. It's kind of even before that a neat story, getting involved in the community. We came out here from San Diego when I was in high school, just finishing up high school, and I was a little bit frustrated with the lack of things for children to do out here and things for teenagers to do. And my mother is one of those great women who says, if you don't like it, go do something about it.
Do it, the Nike woman.
Just do it. It comes from my mom.
I love it.
So I went and started volunteering for the Family YMCA of the Desert. How can I help make these programs bigger and better? From there, became site director. Really found that I love working in this community from there. I mean, it happened quick. Went to the Children's Discovery Museum, helped them do fundraising and staffing, camp programs, educational workshops, you name it, and had an absolute blast. And I found out this is something that I really am good at. I'm great at finding needs and helping to fix those for our community, listening to our community, helping us grow. When I was at the Children's Museum, I volunteered for the Palm Desert Golf Cart Parade, doing their children's area. They have a free kids zone there because that was a natural fit. And then that's when I saw that there was an opening at the Palm Desert Chamber and went there.
Now, when you first started there, what role did you play when you first started the chamber?
At the Chamber of Commerce, I think I was director of membership.
Okay, so you're already in that attraction position where you were gathering more people to join the chamber?
Absolutely. It was some sales, it was some sponsorships, it was, of course, putting on events because great chambers put on great events. So a little bit of everything. And in the nonprofit and chamber world, we all kind of do everyone's job. And that's also the neat part. That's also how you grow as a professional.
Yeah. Now, something I noticed the first time I met you is you're very, very active when it comes to social media and using that platform or those platforms. What do you see as a Chamber of Commerce as really one of the key platforms that you use to either communicate an event or attract new members? Is there a certain platform out there you use?
Sure. I really do like to use LinkedIn as a professional way of communicating. Twitter, of course, is out there as well, but really Facebook I view as the most activity for at least folks within our community and the easiest way to access our businesses and local professionals. I always say that I think Facebook is like the world's biggest mixer, and if you're not on it, then you're really missing out on a huge potential of people. So even if we're speaking with the greater Coachella Valley and there may not be members or they may not be small businesses, they may still want to attend a Taste of La Quinta or a car show or something of the sort.
Yeah. You know, you found your niche, if you will, your specialty at a very young age, coming out of high school, if you will. What advice would you give someone watching that says, hey, I'm just starting out, Katie, and you know, I'm not sure exactly what I like to do. How would you kind of counsel them, give them a piece of advice on how to get started in their career?
You know, I would say the best example was what I did. I started volunteering in different areas until I found something that I really loved. And of course, I had mentors, and I asked for mentors. So when I was first starting off at the Family YMCA of the Desert, I made sure my boss knew, hey, I want to grow. I want to learn more. What else can I do? What else can I try? What else do you need? And I was constantly doing that, knowing that that's only going to set me apart. And really, it was self-fulfillment. I love to learn new things. And so continue to learn, continue to grow, and ask questions, and really, anyone in your community who you look at as a mentor, ask them for their support, and chances are you'll get 100% of their time and support.
That's $1 million response. Thank you so much. Speaking of learning and education, do you have a resource, like a favorite book or resource that you go to from time to time that said, hey, when you feel like maybe you just need a little nudge that you go back to?
You know, it's more of a lifetime book. It's not necessarily for work or for personal life in particular. It is just for my life, and I love the 4 Agreements. I think that that's something that you can't go wrong, and it's a good reminder just for us as human beings all working together and playing together and living so close together, that just has some good reminders in it.
Well, I have one more question.
Sure.
And this is my favorite. It says, if you had to start over again, what would you do, if anything, differently if you knew you could not fail?
You know, that's a really tough question, because sometimes I think, oh, I can do this and I can do that. I'm just so grateful for the journey that I've had. I don't think I would change anything. The people that I've met along the way who have helped steer me in the right direction or away from the wrong direction, you know, I just wouldn't take that back for anything. It's been an incredible experience. I view leadership really as the opportunity just to serve more. The higher you go, the more hopefully that you serve and serve well. And I feel like I'm still on that path of growing and doing so. So I don't think I would make a lot of changes, really, ultimately.
That's living a very fulfilled life.
Yeah, very much so.
Well, Katie, I know that you're not necessarily own a business, but you run one of the most effective businesses in the Valley for so many people, the Chamber of Commerce. So how would someone reach out to you if they want to know more about the Chamber or to get involved as a volunteer? How would they get a hold of you?
Absolutely. They can go to lqchamber.com. They can call our Chamber of Commerce offices, which is 5643 199, I believe. I'm still pretty new there. But just my advice would be reach out for help. What I see a lot of times is maybe businesses that are really good at making something in particular, whether it's bread or shirts or whatever the case may be, but they might need help with strategic planning. They may need help with a business plan. They might need help with marketing or social media. And that's where we can help. I may not have all the answers, but my goal is to help connect them with folks who do have the answers. So don't hesitate to ask. And then definitely get involved and volunteer. One of the first things I did when I was at the Children's Museum was sign up to be an ambassador with the Rancho Mirage Chamber, because I wasn't sure exactly what a chamber was in the first place. I wasn't sure exactly how they could be of service or how this relationship could work. And that put me in the forefront, and everyone knew this was Katie from the Children's Museum, which is exactly what I needed. So my advice would be get involved in our community. It's a small, tight-knit group. People do business with people they know, like, and trust.
True.
Chamber is a great way to start those relationships. And then don't hesitate to ask for assistance, and it'll be there for you.
That's fantastic. Well, Katie, thank you so much for giving us your time. I know you're busy, brand new Chamber of Commerce CEO, so I really appreciate some very, very powerful answers you've given, and I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thanks again for joining us on another episode of The Local Voice. I'm Jeff Harrison, your host, and we'll see you again next time.